everybody, it's Tuesday, October the 8th, 2013. This is Slashplayed Podcast.
We're knocking this shit out early today.
Dude, yeah,
That's why I was really confused 10 minutes ago.
Well, you know, this might actually make it up on Tuesday and not...
Oh, wow, that would be surprising.
Yeah, fucking... I almost got it last week.
Almost...
I was... Because you were like, this will never get up on Tuesday ever, and then I was like, fucking challenge accepted,
as soon
motherfucker.
As you walked out, he was like,
it
is now my mission.
It made it up by 12:10 a.m. on Wednesday.
No,
I missed it by that much.
I don't think I said ever.
Okay, well, we were making... There was some
but
sort of
I do remember the conversation of, this is definitely not going to be Tuesday last week.
Check this
shit
out.
This we could totally do.
Totally do?
Yeah, it's possible.
Totally do.
Nope.
Totally do.
Anyways, I'm going to go last this week, like I always do.
I party like a rock star.
Stuff that we... Like
hey,
Rockstar Energy or like Rockstar North.
Party like a rock.
Just... Oh, you just sit there. You're just immobile. Unless somebody puts googly eyes on you and calls you their pet. And then paints you or something. Yeah, that doesn't play through the microphone. We don't have like a soundboard that
eventually,
afterwards I go in and I'm like, Keith is smiling right now.
Eventually we're just gonna like smell-o-vision.
Yeah, no. They don't want to smell what happens in this room while we record this podcast.
Toupee.
Lots of butt sex.
Nuh-uh. Nope. Nuh-uh, Keith.
Us.
You're not letting you get away with that one.
Why can't you let me get away?
Nope. 12. That's why I can't let you get away with it.
They don't even know what context.
You're right, they don't.
Doesn't matter.
It's way funnier that way.
I've dwelved once before.
Yeah, he dwells two dweep.
I've dwelved two dweep.
And two dweedly.
And two...
He exposed a bow log.
Two $4 16-ounce margaritas at Chili's.
Woo! Nice. It's classy.
Yeah.
Keep it classy.
I was drinking my booze like this.
Yeah, even people who are like here
and
while we're
like
recording
means
with a pinky out. Yeah. Even people who are here while we record the podcast don't want to be in this room. They go to the other side of the apartment at this point.
Well, no, I think that's more of a...
that's respect.
Yeah,
that is a
it's one of those things like, hey, they don't want to be caught in the audio mix and completely fuck it up. Because the few times we've tried with quote-unquote guests...
Yeah.
They've basically... Yeah.
It's... Yeah.
Not even
it's
that...
caused me a lot of editing problems.
Yeah, not even that one specific time, but even the times where, like, my +1 would sit in the back corner and throw in her 2 cents. Those 2 cents were more or less, hey, shut up, +1. We're trying to do things.
I have no comment on this.
I do. I'll see you this weekend, baby.
I don't want to get hit that much. Anyways.
She hits pretty hard.
Yeah.
You'll be alright.
She hits like an 808 is what you're saying?
Because, bitch, I'm out rolling 808 bending.
Just like...
She got that boom boom pow.
Good Christ. Okay, I guess we're... Hey Keith, what'd you do this week?
What?
Huh?
What'd I do this week?
The last 7 days? The last several hours? Because fuck that math.
Yeah. So let's just talk about the last several hours then.
Alright, sure. What'd you do
since Dustin simplified?
What did you do today then? I'm gonna sit over here and build more time machines.
Okay, remember that game I talked about ages ago, Cookie Clicker?
Yeah.
RJ's now playing it.
No.
RJ's playing it during the podcast.
You can't.
Yeah, he is.
Nope.
Yeah, you are.
Do you really play Cookie Clicker, or do you just
not
like,
once you get past 2 million
just,
clicks or 2 million cookies a second?
Do you just like exist with?
You just
it?
exist with it.
Yeah,
exist.
That was
so. Let me tell you about my past 4 hours.
I love margaritas.
No, it was.
Let's all yell and spike the audio mix all at the same time.
$4 margarita.
So apparently, I keep missing the Chili's commercials where it says "happy hour is every hour."
That's just how I live my life.
So every single time I go to Chili's, I'm just like, really? It's happy hour? And they're just like, yeah, totally. So I think I'm getting a deal, and then I realize, no, that's just their bar prices all day.
That's really funny.
And it didn't click till today.
Wicked smart marketing.
When I was like my third $4 margarita through, but these aren't like the normal like because most bars you go to when you order a margarita.
Put that somewhere that isn't right next to the microphone or something. There you go.
Yeah, when you order a margarita, it's
I don't care a little ting, but when it's like right next to the microphone.
Most of the time they give you in like a highball glass or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I ordered a $4 margarita with no salt in the rim, and she came out with a beer mug of margarita, and I was like, "That's $4," and she was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Fuck!" So I just started going into it.
Well, here goes some bad choices.
So
that is right down the road.
Yeah, it is. Fuck Ale House. Let's go Chili's.
Yep.
So I got like through 4 of those, and then like because apparently Chili's is having like this margarita competition right now.
Bullshit.
Excuse me.
So like, how many can you drink before dying?
No, how many the waitresses can sell.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
that's different.
So the waitress is like, yeah.
I'll give you my 10% off if you just keep buying
Oh
margaritas.
God, I wish. But a classic margarita, which is the $4 margarita, is 10 points for the waitress.
Gotcha.
A El Presidente margarita is 50 points. And so she was trying to talk me into the El Presidente.
Oh my God, what is that?
Is the El Presidente just like
that sounds
No, I've got to guess.
amazing.
It's just a margarita, but it's in a glass sombrero, but the sombrero's upside down, so you just drink out of the whole
God, I
thing.
wish.
No. It is clearly a purple margarita with shades on top.
There you go. That's the one.
Booyakasha.
No, it's actually just a margarita.
With Obama's face on it.
No.
Oh.
But she was just like,
It's a promo for Tropico 4.
I wish that'd be awesome. But she said it's 3 drinks in one.
What?
And it gets me 50 points.
Like
and I
3
looked at
margaritas
her.
in one?
That's what she was trying to play on me. And I looked at her and I was like, okay, how much does it cost? And she was like, and I was like, just tell me. And she was like,
$25.
yeah, she said $7.39. But even $7.39 for a margarita. Now, granted, it's all top shelf. It's a Salsa Especial and a White Patron. So it's all top shelf.
Gotcha.
But if I'm gonna spend $7.40 for a margarita, that motherfucker better come in like a fucking like
boot.
A boot.
A sombrero, clearly,
Yeah.
as RJ previously stated.
She said, yeah, I just totally sold 2 of them. And she pointed over at this couple.
Nope.
They were in fucking stemmed margarita glasses.
Oh.
And I was just like, no fucking way. Because you're giving me mugs of margarita for $4, or I can spend $8 and get the stemmed glass. No, keep bringing me margaritas.
No.
In fact,
I will take the Vice Presidente. Thank you very much.
thank you very much.
But I will take the Presidente, but in the mug.
It better be no less than $14.
Jesus Christ! All right, go Cookie. Cookie Frenzy.
God damn it!
Cookie Frenzy.
Now you got to click.
Yeah, I know. Well, no. I'm gonna eat this one.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna eat this Cookie Frenzy because that's not professional.
But God damn it!
Cookie Frenzy is the best thing you can get in this entire goddamn.
Yeah,
it's like,
it is.
oh, you get like 1,000,000 bonus cookies. I'm like,
wait
I make
till-
that in about
wait-
a half fucking second.
Wait till you get to the point in the game where shit gets real.
Oh, you mean the Cookie Apocalypse?
The grandma
Uprising.
Apocalypse.
Yeah, haven't quite gotten there yet.
But
I assume I'm relatively close, probably.
yeah, you're pretty close. But there's also another point in like the all day happy hour. Where, all wells are $3.25.
Do all wells end wells?
Yes. I mean, I'm here now.
All's wells that ends. No.
No.
Dustin's giving me the no.
Orson Welles?
He's hitting the wrap it up box. Could you get popcorn with it?
No.
Orville Welsenbacher.
Shut up. Fucking Punny McPunnerson.
That's me.
But
I'm in so much pain right now.
the wells there are $3.25 for a well drink. So I was like, yeah. I had my 4th margarita. I was like, can I just get like a cranberry vodka? And she said, yeah, sure. Would you like to double shot it for 75 cents more? And I was like,
yes.
And I was like, $4 for a double shot? Yes. Like, yeah, do that.
Give me one of those.
But not only did she come back with a double shot cranberry vodka, it was in like not a highball glass, but like just a normal like 12-ounce drinking glass.
Gotcha.
And I took it was already suspectly clear. Like there was.
You looked at that and you went, "There's no Red Bull in
Yeah,
this Red Bull and vodka, is there? There's just
Cranberry
vodka."
juice.
Well,
I have another story for that too.
yeah, I was there for that. Cosmos.
No. It was
Different
story
story
after that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I got really depressed at Chili's the other week.
Great. Well, nobody wants to hear that story.
Well, because they don't serve energy drinks at the bar anymore. So I couldn't get Red Bull and vodka.
So you can't speedball.
So
while
you
you're
can't
at the bar.
speedball while you're at Chili's. But she put the drink down, and I was just like, "This is a very not crimson color." And I took a sip of it, and I was like, "That is vodka with cranberry. That is not a cranberry vodka."
These things are. This is more of a red orange than an orange red.
And you mean it's cranberry vodka, not cranberry and vodka. That makes way more sense.
So my buddies that were sitting across from me, they were like, too strong, and I was like, just right. And I started fucking throwing it down like a champ.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah, that's it, man. I took a sip of it, and I was like, ooh, hard day work, completely forgotten. Yeah, that one, forgotten.
Keith, you'll make it through this podcast.
I hope so.
Maybe.
So that's what I did in the past
God, we're recording this early.
Yeah, I've done that in the past 6 hours. It's 8 o'clock at time of recording. I started drinking at 3:30.
Waka waka!
Did you do anything else the rest of this week that is like notable? I'm not looking for you to scan your whole week at this point, because I'll probably be sitting here talking for a while about what I actually did.
Yeah. Anything noticeable I did this past
Yeah,
week?
you do anything notable?
Band practice, me and TJ. Yeah, we were writing a new song.
Cool.
You're
working on podcast music?
It's heavy as fuck.
Right?
We're gonna.
Awesome. I'm stoked.
It's
I'm
important
really stoked.
because
You want some heavy ass podcast intros?
Do you need any assistance? I would be happy to.
I will
Okay.
tell you what I like and don't
I
like,
was gonna
but
say,
beyond that...
I would be happy to tell you what RJ's going to absolutely hate, so that way we can make sure it gets stuck on every single podcast.
I'm sorry, are you going to start editing the podcasts? Didn't think so.
Secretly in your sleep.
Didn't think so.
We're just gonna cut out
If
all
they
of
just get if they get switched,
You're just going to...
if they get switched in the middle of the night while you're sleeping,
You're just going to incept podcast music into my brain and go, no, that sounds like a really good
it
plan.
sounds like a great plan.
But
You do anything else?
no,
No. Dustin, you do anything this week?
I worked.
not.
I saw pictures of you,
Hang
or
on.
you were tagged in pictures about a big wheel rolling down a street.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably the only thing was moving a Ferris wheel 9 blocks.
That seemed like a really tiny Ferris wheel.
It was a really tiny. It's more like a Wheel of Doom, because
Is
I
it
don't think
the
I
Wheel
don't
of
think
Calamity? Turn.
It's not the Wheel of Calamity because it's.
Is
not,
it the Wheel of Morality?
It's not the
Tell
Wheel
us
of
the lesson that
Morality
we should learn.
because there's no options.
It's going to the
This
gypsy. There are no morals.
This is a well. I mean, there are during the day. But
they
no,
have
this
a
is,
sign
hey,
on the door that says "Children not kid friendly."
Well, yeah, at night.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, but no, the seats don't move. I don't think.
What?
Yeah.
So you're gonna get strapped in upside down and then
No, I think you get strapped in right side up. I just think that when the other person is getting unstrapped, you're upside down. Or at least that's... I didn't get a great look at it. I was on the legs. So I had to make sure that the legs got into a truck and moved down the road while everybody else was rolling the Ferris wheel down the road.
This sounds
Literally down the road in the middle of the ghetto of Wilmington. Just rolling...
Just realized there were things I should probably
rolling a Ferris wheel.
Hey, you closed vent before it reminded
exploded
you?
on me.
Yeah.
Before it reminded you?
It was pretty phenomenal to see people be like,
What the fuck is going on?
So what are you doing? Literally. So what are you doing? We're taking this Ferris wheel to the gypsy. Oh, okay, the gypsy's involved. That's fine. You know how many cops passed? 3. You know how many stopped? None of them. You know why? Because we were in earshot of the gypsy.
Yeah.
And it's like,
this is normal.
Fuck it, this is like yesterday.
Is it Tuesday already? Shit.
Yeah. So
That jokes doesn't work when we actually record a thing on Tuesday because it clearly wasn't Tuesday.
it is. Well, I mean, it was Sunday then.
Yeah.
But it's Tuesday now. So yeah, that was interesting.
Seemed like a total clusterfuck.
I got you, son.
What does that even mean?
Foreshadow.
I
just did some research while he was talking about nothing.
Five shadow. I don't.
Oh god.
From behind the 3-point line.
I'm gonna need more whiskey for this.
You need any amount of whiskey for this.
I'm gonna need more whiskey for this.
Okay. Well, we've got time. We could pause this and go to the liquor store. They're still open.
No, I have whiskey.
For the few times that we've recorded this while the candy store is still open.
Right?
Jesus,
You got
that's
anything
a
else?
valid point.
You got anything else
We
going on,
really
Dustin?
should do... Never mind. Did I have anything? I got to talk to Woody about the website.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
Friend of the site.
Got a new...
Friend of the me.
Yeah, got a new...
Who's Woody, the escapist guy?
No, Woody.
No.
Woody is a buddy of mine that I know. I didn't go to high school with him, but I went to high school with John, and Woody was in the D&D group that I was in.
Oh.
So I have a better goal now.
Also, he was the guy that I was rooming with at ECU before I met you guys.
Right.
White guy?
No, the one white guy that I roomed with.
Right.
Because no matter where I go, and that was the funny story about moving here, was as we were pulling up...
That's why he looked familiar.
Yeah, as we were pulling up, and as I was getting out of the... Like, to sign up for, like, registration, like, look at rooms and stuff, my mom was like, you think they'll room you with a black guy? I was like, everybody else does. I don't have a problem with it. It's just funny that it happens literally every time.
Except for this time.
So I've got a new goal for the...
Well, I made Woody move into that room because Ryan moved out.
Ryan being a black guy?
Yeah.
Correct.
Ryan being my other big black roommate before Brian. No, before
Brian, yeah. With the lisp.
I don't
badass.
I don't remember.
But, so I've got a new goal for the website, but it means I've got to learn a lot. So I'm already starting to try and
listen. If you can, let me put it this way: if you can learn the way that Woody suggested you can learn,
that's the tough part.
That means that he can probably help you with
that.
it.
Well, that's what we talked about. It was very much a collaboration. It was he knows some of it, and I know none of it. But if I could get on at least close to the same page,
right,
then we could easily collaborate and we could easily work when the other one can't. We would have a lot more structural integrity on the site, because we would be able to bounce ideas off of each other and not just be solo trying to figure shit out. You get no idea how much that helps when programming.
Oh no, I mean, obviously I cannot do anything other than throw my super old design docs at you,
right,
and say, hey, make this happen. But no, I mean, I totally understand how having someone there would provide a lot more traction. You definitely
need to redo all of those super old design docs, because they are chicken scratch and really, really hard to read.
Well, I put them onto your computer. We did that one time.
I don't think they're on my computer.
They're on your laptop.
Oh, they're on my laptop?
Yeah.
Okay. I will have to check and make sure that
do you have the rest of those?
What, the design docs? Yeah. No. They are around here somewhere.
Great, that'll go well.
we have to hash everything out, because we need to make sure that we have all of the pieces in place. That's the hardest part. We need to figure out what we want to accent the most on our site.
I look at it this way, I can kind of understand where you're coming from as far as that goes, because guess what? I wanted to run a website and produce any content and all, and suddenly I moved here and look, content.
Ta-da!
Like magic.
Yeah. No, the collaboration is the best, as long
medicine.
I wouldn't say medicine, but it's the best for getting shit done as long as collaboration is actually happening.
Yes.
And this is a primary example of that, in my opinion.
Do anything else?
I'm trying to think if I did anything, like, while you were gone. And you know what the long and short of that is? No.
No?
No, I really didn't.
So I had the exciting week this time.
You are the only one in this household who had an exciting week. I was completely fucking dead.
I don't know, my weekend was pretty exciting.
I went to the Escapist Expo.
No, mine was.
What? Is it something that we can talk about on the podcast?
Nope.
Okay, then we'll talk about it later. So I went to the Escapist Expo this week, which was pretty sweet, because I happen to know one of the people who works there.
Don't name drop, you'll look like an asshole.
I mean, he's on the Escapist podcast. That helps.
I said, listen, Dad, I quit.
Wow,
I know. Name drop.
No. What?
It's from Grandma's Boy.
From Grandma's Boy.
Oh.
Keith knew immediately.
When he was an accountant before he became a video game tester.
Right. Okay. So I went to the Escapist Expo, and actually, so we've all been to MagFest at this point. MagFest is very much like a sit down, fuck around, hang out with people, do dumb shit sort of event. Be drunk all the time and play video games.
Yeah, Escapist Expo was very much a con.
Yeah, this was more of a con, and my mom and one of my friends called it a conference. And it was much closer to conference than a fest,
That's what a
MagFest
con
is.
would be. A conference. No, it's short for convention or conference.
Those are two different things. I consider those two very different things.
Yeah,
conference.
Have you ever been to an EMS convention before?
No, but I'm talking about top tier things. Usually called very professional business people typically call them conferences. This is a con in the sense that people were dressed up as anime characters.
E.g., Port City PopCon. That was less panels, more booths.
Yeah, I mean...
Cons to me are more booths.
Yeah.
Booth-based. Or, they're booth-based with some panels.
All I'm saying is I've been...
This was very much a panel con.
Yeah, I've been to way too many conferences.
Uh-huh.
Conferences are so lame.
As well as conventions.
Well, I think a conference is just purely like
outside of the
professional.
Outside of the video game industry,
yeah,
there is no distinction.
Well,
you ever been to an EMS convention before?
I mean, no, I haven't. Do they have like dunk booths set up or like pin the tail on
you
the vein?
You sit for 3 hours in a room listening to somebody talk.
Right, that's a conference.
Yeah,
I think
they called it a convention.
Wow, that sucks.
That's what I'm saying.
That sucks.
Outside of the video game industry, there's no distinguishing.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Okay, I see that. So I got to sit in on a bunch of different panels. I get to sit in on a panel with Cliff Blazinski where he went gay for tile, which was hilarious.
And granted, I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, no, that's no. Well, I didn't understand where you were coming from.
The Escapist is very much a convention.
I know you're nitpicking. Stop.
So I got to
nitpicking. Get off of me.
Well, shit.
I got to sit in on a silly panel with Cliff where they talked about things that they like outside of the video game world, and the really funny thing about that is he drove his Lamborghini there, and as he was leaving for that day, I was standing outside having a cigarette with one of the dudes that I randomly met, whose like cousin was writing on the Splinter Cell games, whose panel I actually went to on the last day. And we were sitting there making fun of this motherfucker who was driving around in his Lamborghini and, racing to red lights just to get behind minivans and shit. And then I found out later that it was Cliff's Lambo. And I went, yeah, he kind of deserved that. I sat in on a panel with Mike Capps and Randy Greenback. Randy Greenback was also on that first panel with Cliff and Lisa Foyles and Greg Tito, who's, I believe, the editor-in-chief of The Escapist. And it was a Games for Good panel where it's like, hey, how can we sit down and change the way that we're writing about things to actually make them express or actually push things forward in a more like, emotional way or something, as opposed to just, sitting down and brainless shooters. And that was a really great panel because it was like super intimate. There was like 15 or 20 people in the room tops, and then like the 4 of them sitting on a panel. And it wasn't like a come up to the microphone and talk to us about stuff. It was sit in your chair and we'll just
genuinely
and we'll just talk back and forth. And that was fucking super awesome because I got to give Mike Capps, who is a fucking millionaire off of being in the games industry, a talking point that he used over and over and over again. Because at the very beginning they were like, so have you played any games that, have affected you emotionally or that, made you actually feel things? And the thing that happened to me at a bunch of these panels was I would be the first person to input something because it was just like...
Because RJ has a loud mouth.
Yeah, awkward nerds sitting in a room. Somebody's got to break the ice, so I'll do it. And I was like, yeah, sure, you guys were talking about Gone Home earlier. I've played Gone Home. That's a great game. And, it made me feel something emotionally. Also, the last 10 minutes of the last episode of The Walking Dead were fucking incredible. I almost cried at the end of that. That shit's super powerful. So Mike Capps sat down and beat the Walking Dead horse to death, or on death,
because he felt like he had to.
Yeah, well, it's a really good example.
Right.
What else did I go to? I went to like a feminist,
I'm sorry.
Panel. No, I mean it was really
feminist anything. I'm sorry.
Well, that's a really poor descriptor for the panel. The panel was called "You Play Like a Girl."
I'm sorry.
I mean, it was super informative. Also, it was kind of hilarious because at one point they were talking about cosplaying and people dressing up for cosplaying, and at one point they asked the audience, so who actually just came here just to find out how they could be more attractive to guys? And it was crickets. And I just went, woo! And like even the gay dude who was sitting next to me, I was like, you didn't even take that? Fine. If you are just gonna tee this up for me, I will fucking drive this one home. I will be that guy. And the other thing was, one of the girl, like, they were taking live tweet questions and something, and apparently somebody asked them to explain what mansplaining is. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys in the very back row, even behind me, went, let me help you with that. And I went, oh, I didn't know what that was before, that there was a term for that, but that's kind of okay, I got you now. I'm tracking. Got you.
I feel like you have to elaborate on mansplaining.
Mansplaining is when, like, a female tries to talk to you about something, and you're like, oh, yeah, I know, it's like this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and you elaborate on it, and you talk over them to the degree that they're not able to explain basically anything. I also went to a no right answer panel that had Jim from Jimquisition, Yahtzee, Graham from Loading Ready Run, and Bob from Movie Bob on it, and they basically had a bunch of who would win in a fight situations, except that the way that they laid this out was it wasn't who would win in a fight, it was this person versus that person in a third random scenario. So it was Batman versus Harry Potter in Family Feud. Yeah.
Batman.
Well, but the funny joke there is that neither one of them has a family. So, but yes, also and the logic came down to
Batman has Talia al Ghul. Batman has Talia al Ghul and fucking Damon
and the Justice Friends.
Now he does. But the argument for that one was, Batman is the world's greatest detective. He'll probably just find a way to deduce the answer, whereas Harry Potter is the best person in the world at saying words that don't actually exist.
I can see it.
Yeah. And one of the other great ones was, who would win in hockey, and it was somebody versus Gandalf. I can't actually pull it. And Graham Stark came up with maybe my favorite answer of the entire night, which was, yeah, Gandalf's big problem is that the rest of his team can't pass, so that tends to be a killer. And I just went, man, Graham. Although I did want to kill one of the two no right answer guys because they said, I got you for 5 minutes, and I went, you're
wrong.
No.
That is 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
Yeah, and then
Bonesaw!
He still got the playtime.
Bonesaw is ready!
But it was hilarious because somebody next to me was like, isn't it 3 minutes? I was like, yes, it's 3 minutes. That guy's...
He is wrong!
I wanted to fight him.
He wanted you to nerd rage.
I don't think...
And by that I mean, he was just wrong.
I don't know, RJ's on a roll of being wrong tonight.
Fuck you very much. I also went to a panel with Total Biscuit.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. And you were wrong about using fraps. So we're rocking it right now.
I wasn't wrong about being fraps. I just didn't know what the better option was.
Not fraps.
Well,
I didn't know any better either. I'm just like...
Yeah, so shut up.
I'm fishing for insults at this point.
Stop it. That doesn't help us. So yeah, got some funny insider knowledge from him. On Saturday night, there was... an escapist event that took place at the Motorco where some bands played, Random Encounters played, and this other dude went after him, and I can't remember his name right now, and I feel like a bad person for it because it was a lot of fun. Also, he had a Saints Row song, so somebody brought the dubstep I think it was Miracle of Sound. So this dude brought the dubstep that night, which was pretty great.
Wait, Motorco in Raleigh?
No, Motorco in Durham.
Durham. So was that the show that had like D&D Sluggers and shit at it?
No, it was...
or was that last weekend?
That was probably last weekend. The Warp Zone guys apparently played one song, and then they got off the stage and Random Encounters went up there, and then Miracle of Sound happened. Because that's all they had prepared, and apparently they were like basically shitting themselves over it already. Just like, we've never actually played in front of people, oh god. So yeah, they went up there and played they had all their shit on stage, all of their stuff had to get broken down, and then
because Keith, they're nerds.
They don't understand how bands.
They're nerds.
The people who are running
first are like, oh my god, there are people here.
The people who were running the show totally understood and were like, man, fuck that noise, but let them do it anyways.
Yeah, see, every time I tried to book a show, they made sure we had at least 20 minutes of music to play.
Oh, I believe it.
If we didn't, they say, no, look somewhere else.
Oh, yeah. But this, this was like an escape. This wasn't.
It's called entertainment, not hey, you get your 2 minutes.
But this wasn't
entertain the crowd.
This wasn't Motorco itself running it. This was the Escapist running it. So they,
the Escapist
got to
made a poor choice. You're welcome.
What if there's?
You should let me book your shows and pay me.
What if it's almost midnight? And
it wasn't.
And they only have 2 minutes.
They shouldn't let me book their shows because I would book like all local death metal bands, and it would not be relevant whatsoever.
Probably not.
You should buy more time machines.
And then I just did. And then
saw
I
it.
ended up getting a sick Humans vs. Zombies bandana.
Yeah, which I wore last night.
Yeah. Because they had this thing set up, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, I'll totally play your game and run around and get chased by people. I was like, no, I just want
the bandana.
I just want one of these branded bandanas that says Expo 2013
It was
on
very
it.
similar to the Zombies vs. Humans on campus.
That's exactly what it
Yeah.
was. It was,
No,
and
yeah,
it was those actual guys who started the original game who came down from Baltimore to do it.
Yep.
So it wasn't the guys on campus then, so you're wrong.
No, it's the branch of the ECU version.
Yeah, they used the website. They
Yeah,
tried
was
to
used
convert
after the
to
website. Yeah.
But because at first they were just like, hey, this isn't going very well. Maybe we should actually listen to the guys that know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, and those guys were like, East Carolina, who ran that game? I was like, I don't fucking know. Some idiot
I
ran
do.
that game.
I know who ran
It
that
was some
game.
chick off College Hill, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways.
She was bad. I played for like all of like a day.
So
I shot zombies.
oh,
I was never a zombie the whole time. It was pretty boss.
So other random highlights of The Escapist, I watched some of the World Cyber Games, StarCraft 2 stuff.
Mhm.
I was alright. They're playing Heart of the Swarm now. I have not watched since before Heart of the Swarm
They've been
came
playing
out.
Heart of the Swarm for a while.
Well, yeah, and again, I haven't watched
Yeah.
StarCraft 2 professionally since,
Heart of the Swarm's so dumb.
Well, it was funny to see that, like, it was sort of the more things change, the more they stay the same sort of thing, where it was like, oh, that guy's still going Marine Marauder Medevac with Vikings against Protoss. Okay.
Right.
That's not changed. But, it was interesting to see some of the other interactions. I got to have, like, a 5 or 7 minute conversation with John Drake, which was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Because it was funny because I walked out of the panel and he was standing there talking to Cliff Blazinski. I was like, this is not the right time, but I was trying to get up with Woody, so I was like on my phone. So then I walked back the other way. I was like, oh, he's talking to some chick, which ended up being his girlfriend.
Right.
And then I just kind of stood there, and she walked off, and he was hiding behind a potted plant at the time, and then had walked back, he was doing it as a joke,
Right.
as his girlfriend was walking away. And then I walked out, and I was like, hey, John Drake, and he was like, hi, and A, he's shorter than I would have thought, but B, I was like, I love your stuff, and he was like, I don't know why you love her stuff, but thanks. I was like, I love you on Giant Bomb, and he was like, oh, fuck those guys. And later on, he said he hopes they all fall down a well, but
Oh, wow.
But it was all in sarcasm.
Yeah, it was
I
all-
would hope so.
this
Jesus.
is all in jest. But the really funny part was, he was like, I was like, so, what are you guys doing? He was like, we've got, a bunch of people working on Fantasia and stuff, and then we've got a small group of, 8 people working on this other, thing off to the side. And I was like, oh, Rock Band Blitz 2? And he must have misheard me, because he was like, yeah, Rock Band 4, 8 people working on it, so, which I brought back at him. Oh, so what you're saying is Rock Band 4 supports up to 8 players at the same time? He's like, yes, I can see you writing the headlines now. John Drake says, so I'm officially reporting it here.
Confirmed.
John Drake has confirmed 8 people in, Rock Band 4.
Band 4.
Yeah, man, they're adding a keyboard.
They've already added that.
Well, no, I mean, as a 5th, on top of the stuff they've already got. Well, I guess that would be whoa. There's gonna be
drums,
another guitar,
bass, vocalist, and keys.
I think
they
tech-
got 5 already.
I
Well,
think
I'm saying there's gonna be
technically-
another guitar.
I think technically if you played Beatles Rock Band, you could have 8 people playing. You would have 1 drummer and 2 guitarists and a bassist or something like that. And then
If
you
you
could
were
and then you could
referee
have
singers.
no,
If
and then you could have
over the
4 people
internet.
on vocals or something.
That's what he just said.
No, but you could have it all on one thing because they have the multi-taps for all the USB stuff. What do you think half the shit plugs into this computer through?
Rock Band.
Fucking-
multitaps.
Yep, Rock Band
Fucking Rock Band.
multitaps.
Yeah.
USB 1.0.
No, it's 2.0.
Yeah.
So, and then I got to finally get my hands on
I have
and
3 on my motherboard.
no, look who fancy.
And I also have a
Fancy,
USB.
huh?
I also have a USB 3.0 external hard drive. So much faster than whatever I have to compare it to, which is nothing.
Which is-
so
I got the solid state
Yeah,
drive
I was
you
like-
can check out.
I have it. I have
It's
it.
pretty fast.
I have it to compare to my actual just normal disk drive.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty goddamn fast.
there you go.
And I finally got to play some Johann Sebastian Joust, and that game is fun.
I bet. Sounds fun.
It's
Is it? Okay, I gotta ask because
Okay.
I haven't. Heard
I was waiting
anything
for
about
questions
it.
this literally this
Is it
whole
just
time.
a
yeah.
Johann Sebastian Bach based joust?
So
No.
it's like a you play with PlayStation Move controllers,
Oh, you already lost me.
And the thing that
You know
it
what
is...
Joust is, though, right?
Yeah, I know what
Okay.
Joust is. And, music plays in the background, and depending on how fast or slow the music is playing, determines how sensitive the controller is, and your job is to go over and hit other people's arms or controllers or whatever.
Oh, yeah. You showed me that.
Yeah. So basically, it got me to realize that yes, I want to play this. Yes, I want a 25 by 25 open area where we can play this. Yes, I want us to be drunk, and yes, I want us to be throwing shoes at each other while we're doing it, because that's the only way I wanted to play.
PS3.
I
Make
do
it
have
happen.
But that's the thing, is it
PS3.
doesn't necessarily run off of a PS3 exclusive.
That's the other thing.
Currently they're running it off of a fucking PC,
Yep.
but it's still not out yet.
Right.
The easiest way, I feel like, because it runs off of a PS Move, the easiest way would to be revert to the guy with the PlayStation. Hello, Dustin.
Well, it's not out anywhere yet, so
Yeah, it's not a
I'm just saying, they're obviously optimizing for a PlayStation Move, so
except they're running it off of a
they're
PC.
running it off of a
I
PC though. Is what he's
okay,
saying.
I
They're
understand
optimizing it for PC.
PlayStation, Sony hardware. For Christ's fucking sake,
You know,
Sony
Well, yeah,
you
but
know,
it's
you
like-
know the
it's
Kinect
like the-
has
I was
a
gonna
PC
say-
version now, right?
Well, hang on. I was gonna say
because
it's
it's.
like they took, well, no, hang on.
I'm gonna go use the bathroom.
It's like they took the Kinect
Uh-huh.
and they hooked two Kinects into a PC. Like they basically jailbroke them
Uh-huh.
and hooked two Kinects into Kinect cameras,
Right.
basically, and hooked them into a PC and put them basically at 0 degrees and 90 degrees. Like, so one is next to you, to your right, and one
Uh-huh.
is and one is directly in front of you.
Okay.
And then they made 3D models of people.
Right.
And
I mean, they've been...
and they made like real 3D models
Mm-hmm.
of people with the Kinect and made some really cool shit with them that is on the internet.
Well, it's like
that I thought was pretty cool. So it's basically just how do you jailbreak your peripheral and make it
Right.
something awesome, and that's what Johann Sebastian Joust
yeah.
is
I mean, they've
in a nutshell.
as far as that goes, they've been doing like crazy medical homebrew shit with
Yeah,
the Kinect,
right,
which
right,
is
right.
fucking
Which
cool.
is really nuts. Yeah.
Fucking cool. Because, a lot of people shit on this sort of technology and stuff, and it's like, oh, this is totally useless. But, like, it's really funny to think, like, yes, in the situations that we're trying to use it in, it could be kind of pointless. But, in the rest of the world, they may find something to use it for, which is awesome. I also played a couple I found the most Canadian board game ever.
Was it Maple Syrup Hockey Let's Go?
You're surprisingly close. Do you want to take a guess?
Wait. You didn't add bears. You forgot the bears.
You're
Grizzly Bear Maple Syrup Hockey Edition.
It's really disgustingly
hang
close to
on.
what
Turbo
hang on.
HD.
It's not any of those things.
But it should be.
Hang on.
But it's-
Hang on. I feel like it's coming to
You're
me.
feeling like you're not
Is
going
it-
to nail it.
Is it?
It's two things.
No, I can't figure out anything that involves those things that also works with
Flapjacks
shirt.
and Sasquatches.
I was gonna say. I was just about to say I can't think of anything that works with those things and it also makes sense, like Chutes and Ladders.
Yeah.
And it's Flapjacks and Sasquatches.
Flapjacks and
God
Sasquatches.
damn it.
It's
I
so
was
dumb.
almost there. I was so close.
So you play.
That's exactly where
it's
I
a
was.
cards and dice based game where you draw cards to play them down to like get equipment and stuff,
Right.
and then you're trying to chop down trees, and different trees have different point values, and
This game's already dumb.
yeah, dude, it took forever to play, but by the end of it, we were like all deliriously screaming at each other, and it was hilarious. And then they were like, "RJ, you don't get to pick what game we play ever again." And I went, "Okay, this is your own damn fault." This is your own damn fault. Because literally, I walked over there and I went, "What's the stupidest fucking thing on this table that I can find? Oh, this looks really dumb." So I grabbed it and brought it over, and I won.
There you go. You won the game.
I did.
Did you actually win the game?
I also actually won.
Oh, okay. Well then, there you go.
There you go.
You won twice.
And
Congratulations.
So, did you guys play anything this weekend while I was gone? So no.
No, that was a no.
Okay.
Very definitively.
Let's see.
Playing Bejeweled or Tetris or anything?
No, I played a shit ton of Grand Theft Auto, but we've already talked about that.
Yeah,
so.
I played.
If you want to keep talking about your experiences in Grand Theft Auto,
I played a little bit more Grand Theft Auto.
I have not. I've 2 weeks now. I've not touched Grand
I
Theft Auto.
played a little bit more of Marvel vs. Capcom: The Ultimate Edition.
3 Ultimate.
3 Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I really am getting more warmed up to the like character select UI, especially because I hadn't played it much at the last podcast, but since I've played it a little bit more,
it's growing on you.
Yeah, it's growing on me. But the
Like
funny
a
thing is
fungus.
that one side is Marvel and one side is Capcom. It is split like I told you last week. It's split like a book.
Right.
Well,
You
the book is
finally figured out why that was.
I just didn't like look at it. I picked characters so fast that I didn't even notice.
Gotcha.
Because I just wanted to play. And then I noticed it, and I was like, that is subtle.
It's smart,
but it's also kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Other than I tried to play more GTA Online, still broken.
Surprising,
really?
no one.
Yeah, no. I downloaded the update, and the tutorial is still. I mean, granted, I got a little bit farther in the tutorial, but immediately after that, it crashed again.
At this point, you seem to be the only person with that problem.
I'm not.
When was the last time you tried to play it?
Because a couple of days ago. Well, see, the last time I tried to play it was like Saturday or Sunday, right after the patch came out. And
so the servers were probably getting slammed again.
And I don't think it was a patch so much as like they fixed it and made you re-download the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Basically, it was just a patch or like the GTA Online update entirely. Because it was the exact same amount of megabytes as the original online update. Yeah. But when I played it, I got past the stupid intro part, which is the part that I was, or the first race, which is the stupidest system ever, because the only person you're waiting on is Lamar. You're not even waiting on other characters. Or you're not even waiting on other online players. So the whole reason they put you in a lobby is just to show you how lobbies work.
Yeah.
And there's no fucking reason for that shit, and it completely broke everything. Like,
hey, welcome to a lobby.
Yeah.
You've never been in a lobby before. This is a lobby.
And
you've never played Call of Duty.
Yeah, no. So that was incredibly infuriating. But I got maybe almost to the next mission, and it was just like, no. I was like, well, that's fantastic. Great. Guess what I'm not doing?
I'll go play something else now.
Yeah. I'm gonna go slaughter myself in Marvel vs. Capcom a little bit more, because I'm not good at that game.
How are those training missions?
Looks
like you're having a lot of fun.
I decided to play the training missions because I wanted to see some of the elaborate stuff behind it. And I've played Marvel vs. Capcom before. They're fucking stupid. Period. They're fucking stupid. If you have... My controller has that weep on the left joystick that goes up.
The what?
It creeps.
It creeps. It's his.
Oh yeah. Okay, yes, I know what you're talking about.
So my controller,
your dead zone is not proper.
His dead zone
correct.
is
well, no,
broken.
it's not even that it's not proper. It's just that one of the buttons underneath is worn out, and so it'll just rock up sometimes. The dead zone's proper.
It's just hold on, time out. What do you mean one of the buttons?
Well,
underneath?
like the way that the dead zone's proper, but sometimes the joystick actually will stick forward. Does that make sense?
No, because they're
Or
analog controllers. There are no buttons.
Well,
The stick
for
is
some
analog,
reason
there
it
is no
sticks
button.
up. However you justify it.
It makes
I've taken it
makes
apart
them walk
before.
forward.
Yeah, it
sometimes
makes it
in
walk
games
forward.
and stuff. Is basically what he's saying. Like the sensor says, "Hey, this is being pushed up," even when it's not being pushed up.
It's only
that's a dead zone issue.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's fine most of the time. It just
Right.
does it sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as we're on the same page here.
Yeah,
Point
I get
is-
what you're saying, but you
yeah.
said buttons, and I was
Well,
like, what?
well, taking
Yeah.
apart old controllers, just by association. Anyway, I've had that controller since launch.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's an old ass controller, so it makes it incredibly hard to play anything that it's like. If it were just a matter of executing the moves, I would have had it like 20 minutes before I finally got it. Because the controller creeps up,
it fucks you every once in a while.
sometimes when I press the X button or something like that, it does the up X move, and it's like, I'm gonna fucking throw my controller.
Funny story.
Oh my god!
On Ballad of Gay Tony, when you're it's a Grand Theft Auto 4 expansion.
Yeah, right.
When you're in Gay Tony's club, there's the dancing minigame, and when I was playing it at a buddy's house, his dead zone on one of his analog sticks was fucked up. It was this right analog stick; it would drift to the right, and So I was doing it, and it was...
And that would probably make yoga in GTA 5 infuriating.
Yeah, so let's just say when he started playing GTA 5, he bought a new controller. I was playing GTA 4 Baldigay Tony, and I was trying to do this mission because for some reason I wanted to finish the dancing mission. I don't know. But
because you're a dancing queen.
And I was drunk.
Youngest queen. Only 17.
But he kept getting irritated because he's like, dude, you're fucking up. I was like, I'm telling you, it's the controller. He's like, nah, man, the controller's fine. I was like, fuck it. I threw the controller after pulling the battery pack out of it, grabbed his other controller, which is one he had just gotten a little while ago. Plugged it in and completely aced the mission.
You know what I think you need to do at that point? I think this is why they need to start giving out Geometry Wars for free, so that you can just have that as a test case for, is my controller fucked up? Because you'll just start flying in one direction or shooting in another or something, and it's like clearly this shit is broken.
Yeah, clearly your dead zone is not calibrated right.
Like you just sit it on a table and move it around like the thing you use on a Ouija board, and you're just like, okay, if something starts happening, this is broken.
Just wet. Oh man, I miss Geometry Wars. That was a fun game.
Yeah. You play anything else, Dustin?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, all I have to say about your GTA Online losses is that you're missing out.
No, I know.
Seen.
I've played with people online. Like, I was talking to some people while I was getting my tutorial in. That are good friends of mine from college. And they were telling me about it as I was getting into it, and I was like, man, I cannot wait to play this. And guess what? Still waiting. So Keith sympathizes.
No, he doesn't.
I'm shaking my head because I fucking hate you.
Anyways, so you didn't play any games.
At least you get to play the fucking I don't even give a shit about GTA Online. I just want the single player.
I know.
I just want to play the fucking game at my house without having to raid my friends' houses and jack their Xbox for fucking 7 hours.
I played a bunch more Dark Souls since I said that I was playing Dark Souls.
Well, I mean, Beyond Dark Souls is out, so you got to kind of catch up.
Shut up. You gotta shut up.
Still don't like that game. I don't see what
you don't like Dark Souls?
No, I don't.
It's alright.
I didn't like Demon Souls. I didn't like Dark Souls.
It's not for everyone. Period.
Yeah.
I played a little bit. I think this might have been last week. Played a little bit at NBA 2K13 because 2K14 is out now.
This was not last week. Is it out now?
Yeah, it's out
on
now.
PC.
Yes.
Let's do it.
I'm not. That game sounds like it's sort of fucked right now on Steam. Also, I need my money to spend on other things.
Like your livelihood.
Yeah, right.
Food, shelter.
I realized that I need to get back and finish Tomb Raider because I kind of left it hanging.
Hey, I did that with The Witcher.
I've been playing Cookie Clicker. I don't know.
Hey, get that shit, man. You gotta finish Tomb Raider, man.
I'm gonna.
I'll finish Witcher eventually.
You should.
And you should finish Tomb Raider.
Well, one of these days when one of us gets our... I mean, it's either going to be...
By our powers combined.
It's either going to be you or Dustin, but once we get... I'm announcing it now. Once we get our video recording thing figured out, we're going to play through The Witcher 1.
It should be Keith, because I will probably be terrible.
Like, all of it.
Yeah, I've never played that game before, so I feel like it should be me.
All of it.
Okay.
I mean, it could be both.
All 80 million hours of it?
It's long as shit.
Wait, I can do side missions.
I thought we weren't going to do multi-parter Let's Plays.
I'm sorry, what?
Play sessions?
Whatever.
That's the one. No, we are. Of course we are. We just had to... I mean, we had this discussion a long time ago.
Well,
But we're going to do it entirely drunk.
On that discussion.
We're going to be doing it drunk the whole time.
Slashplayed 1.0, The Witcher.
It's not true. All right, let's get into some news. Just to...
Oh, well, let's start with me.
Okay. Let's start with you, then.
So there apparently was an official statement by Steam saying the only difference between buying one of our Steam machines and an actual gaming PC is the box. The price will not be different. So your $900 sale at a Lost Titan fucking PC thingamajigger we were talking about earlier was wrong.
Hey,
that's what I've been steaming on.
You should get that.
Hey, did they say when they're putting it out?
You should talk about that song.
Did they say when they're putting it out?
I don't know.
So it'll probably still be $900 by the time they put it.
But not at a loss. So
you should talk about
so it'll
that
be
song.
at cost then.
You're still wrong.
So we're talking. Shut the fuck up. So we're talking about the Steam box that's coming out. Where's the?
I'm gonna pull up the article. So
No, I've already got it. You're too slow.
not the article that I have.
Valve has announced its Steam prototype specs. Its top end thing is looking like it's coming with a NVIDIA Titan card, an i7 4770 processor, which is I think a 3.4 gigabyte quad. 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM with 3 gigs of DDR5 on the GPU. A 1 terabyte hard drive hybrid with 8 gigabytes of solid state, which I assume is just where they're going to put the operating system. And then it's got a power supply.
Yay, power supply. And the box dimensions.
The
That's
fact
important.
that it's only a 450 watt power supply seems kind of low.
That does seem really low. I was just noticing that.
Well, I feel like they
also they're not talking about like motherboards or sound or anything.
I feel like the motherboard is going to be proprietary for the form factor,
quite possibly.
And
12 by 12.
Okay, so if it's just a PC,
2.9
what
inches
operating
high,
system will it be running?
It's
Steam OS.
Okay,
it's a Linux.
So it's just going to be Linux based Steam OS.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
that makes more sense then. That makes it less of a console than I was initially thinking.
Yeah.
Like
it's just going to be a slightly smaller box.
Yeah. It's basically
as opposed to a bigger, blacker box.
If somebody builds a Linux based PC, this is basically this is honestly the first entry in the like gaming PC market where somebody says, "Hey, you can buy our PC with Linux instead of buying it Windows 8's installed, or Windows 7's installed." So I feel like it's Linux's first foot in the door when it comes to we have a market now.
Right.
But like we talked about previously, it's one of those things where can we get the developers on board with that market remains to be seen.
Right.
But with that hardware, though, the statement that I made last week saying basically if you can get the entire back catalog, because even the low-end Steam machine is still running a GTX 660.
Right. I mean, except for processor, this thing is running better than my PC right now at 16 gigs of RAM. That's double what I'm running,
which means it's super duper capable.
So even on the low end, and because it's running Linux and it's going to be basically gaming initiative, or it's going to be a more gaming focused. The processing speed is important, but an i3 to an i5 when all you're trying to do is game is not a humongous jump.
Well, see, that's the thing.
Because we're not worried about multiprocessing. We're not worried about the arduous background tasks of Windows anymore. We're running Linux.
So
Linux is like baby tapping your processor.
I guess the question at that point is how mix and matchable are these specs, or is it the Titan comes with the 4770, the GTX 780 comes with the i5,
and the 660,
and the 760 and 660 come with some i3.
I would think that they would be hard cases, like not customizable, just because it would take more. If you streamline and you make the process, there are these 3 consoles. You don't have to. You don't have to take the time to make each one individually, and that saves you on cost, period.
I wouldn't be surprised if Steam took the approach that a lot of gaming PC assemblers take, where, hey, you pick the hardware, you pay for it, and we'll send it to your house.
But I think that...
to make it more approachable...
I think Valve is, at this point, looking more towards, developers and publishers and saying... And not saying... hey, it's going to be one of these things, but would instead rather give them hard and fast guidelines. So I don't think these are going to be mix and matchable. I think you have your top end machine, your mid end machine, and your lower end machines.
Well,
and saying lower end at this point, fucking this is better than my computer.
Although what I will say about that is they're still in essence PCs, so they're still in essence customizable after you get them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
The shipping part, I would think would be the.
Although Valve would want to come with
in.
Developers and be like, "Hey, this is what we're shipping people." Those developers still have to account to the fact that this is just PC. These are PC hardware,
right?
If I buy a Steam machine, say I get like the i5 with the 760 in it, and I want to rip that out and put a Titan in it. Developers have to be ready for that because Valve has already said, "Hey, take our stuff and do what you want."
Yeah, it's kind of a
like this is the package we're giving you, but once you get it, we don't care.
This is not officially the first time that like consoles have had slightly different specs. I forget what. I think it was some Sega console or something where they were allowing multiple people to develop their hardware, so they were a little bit different here and there.
Nintendo did it for a little bit with the GameCube.
Or it might have been
they had Panasonic making GameCubes.
I'm thinking further back than that. Well, but okay, so like the fucking 3DO had like multiple people developing theirs.
I know. With the, like I said, with the GameCube, they had Panasonic making GameCubes at one point because they wanted a DVD player.
So I mean, we'll fucking see. Also, I don't think that this is coming for a very long time, especially since they only officially released it recently. I think they're gonna wait for the Titan to be a card where they can say, "Hey, here's a $1,000 box," and I think that's gonna be their top
at the max end
at most. I think
that that's so give it another year.
I could see it happening sooner. I could see it being more expensive, but I could see Valve not giving a fuck and just being like, "This is what we're putting out. Fucking deal with it."
I really like that they've got these specs on it. I really like that they are.
I mean, they're
making sure they're competitive.
I mean,
that to me is just.
My
phenomenal.
issue with these specs is to be competitive because let's just go to brass with this.
Sure.
This is technically still a PC.
Yes.
But when you release something that's
most of the new consoles coming out are technically PCs.
But if you release something that is as proprietary as the Steam machine, it's a console. It has its own controller. It has its own it has its own operating system.
That was my argument previous.
Right.
But the fact that it's Linux based and the fact that it's.
But my issue being is the next generation of consoles, and this is just me using what little amount of foresight I have. This new generation of consoles is coming into at the minimum with a $400 price point.
Right.
Which is already, and the hardware within that $400 price point kicks the shit out of the $500 price point's hardware.
Well, I mean, it's inflation, dog. It's
so if you're even
except that last time $599
in a year's
out of the PS3.
And they lost a lot of money out of it.
In a year's time, well, the PS3 or PS4 is still being sold at a loss.
Well, I mean, they're going to sell it at an incredible loss.
No, they're actually not. They're selling it at a $60 loss.
It's a launch title's worth of loss.
We did the math on this last time.
If they buy a Sony published title,
it was a Sony published title and like a year of
PlayStation Plus, then they already made up the difference.
Right.
But if you compare our foresighted year later $1,000 launch point of a Steam box or a Steam machine.
But that's still the maximum.
But even the minimum, a GTX 660 card with those specs at this point right now still costs more than $400. My computer, which is still what I consider under specs compared to RJ's, who's is years old, still costs me about $500.
Right.
So if they're going for sticker price on this hardware, if they were to sell it now, it's not competitive.
No, it's not. And I don't think Valve is trying to be competitive right now.
But even a year later, it won't be.
I don't think that they need... I think Valve is looking at this and going, we're going to provide people with an option. It doesn't need to be fucking competitive because we have so much money.
No, to convince me, I need to see Valve's statement off of the developer's reaction of a Linux-based system. I need to see Linux ports.
Yeah, I mean...
I need to see Linux ports.
The hardest...
Because when you provide me a back catalog, then you can justify the purchase.
Yeah, the hardest part about this is going to be...
Because
is going to be not only getting proper, good, on-time PC ports to Windows at this point is fucking hard enough.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, we want you to do this for Windows and we want you to do it for Linux is a fucking uphill battle.
I have like 90-some games on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
If I can buy the Steam box and that entire catalog is available to me,
right, I
can justify the purchase. Until they can tell me that, and I have to buy new games just because they have already ported them to Linux,
Right.
I'm not going to spend money on your thing. It's just not
No,
going to
yeah.
happen.
Okay. What if you could rebuy the games for like $10 or $20
Nope.
and your saves came over?
Then they already won. They already won.
No, 'cause
Fuck you, Sony and Microsoft. Steam wins.
That's still $900 more you'd have to spend.
Well, if they did that, Steam already won because I already know it's possible.
So also just jumping before we move off of this, jumping back real quick, we have to assume that like mouse and keyboard and probably 360 controllers and probably now PS4 controllers transition will work on.
They have confirmed that mouse and keyboard will work.
Okay.
And the Steam controller is optional at this point.
Okay.
Although I'm curious.
Yeah.
I want to play with it.
So as far as that goes, PlayStation 4 controller will have basic functionality on PC, which means no touchscreen, but pretty much everything else.
Yep, which means you don't have to download some third-party app to get your PS3 controller to work anymore because PS4.
Or you don't have to buy like a hilarious USB dongle where you plug a
You
PlayStation
said dongle.
2 thing in and then you plug it into a USB port and look, it works magically. Whoa!
But on that dongle, you can also do GameCube and original Xbox.
Well,
Whatever.
sure.
That is a multi-functioning dongle.
Also, I'm sure
No
people.
star.
I'm sure people will probably find a way to hack the or will find a way to make some sort of use of the touchscreen or something.
Sure. It won't take much.
I mean, they've already done it with the 6-axis for the PS3.
This is a really
They've downloaded or they've created third-party apps that let you map the 6-axis motion controls
Right.
for PC through the Bluetooth.
So this is an article that I guess you sort of have to talk about every once in a while, but I was like largely considering not talking about. Guess what? People are overstating how much piracy affects them.
Big fucking surprise. Moving on.
I mean,
Well, I've been saying this. I've been saying it for a long time. You either get your media out to people that, I mean, just because somebody doesn't pay for something, it's kind of like free advertising. Like, people who really like your stuff and really like who you are gonna support you. If they don't have the money to necessarily do it immediately,
Yep.
then they're gonna show it to all their friends who are gonna buy
Yo,
it.
dog, there's been plenty of games that RJ has pirated that I've
That-
actually paid for.
well, I was getting to that. And I was
And
going to
that
say
RJ's
there's been
paid for.
plenty of games that I have perhaps conspicuously acquired
That you paid for later.
that I paid for later.
Right. And
Because
it's very
I went.
I mean,
This game was a lot of fun.
let's-
It's worth
yeah.
even, and there have been plenty of times where I've rebought that game and then not fucking touched my official copy of it.
Let me just throw some history at you. When Doom was launched, the first chapter of Doom was freeware.
Yeah. No, I mean proper demos really don't exist
Yeah,
anymore.
they were just like, here's
Unless you're Pac-Man CEDX Plus, apparently.
here's a good chunk of our game. If you like it, buy it. If not, well, you can still play this with your friends.
Right. So yeah, I mean, yeah, people are lying about piracy.
Well, considering the fact that the game industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry at this point,
I think it's more.
I think people that bitch about piracy, developers that bitch about, or no, more or less publishers like AAA publishers that bitch about piracy at this point are just blowing smoke up their own ass.
I feel like
'Cause you're not going to win. You're not
it's
gonna
very
win
much
that one.
okay. Listen, when I was in school, I took statistics, and in statistics, you learn about cause and effect, about about everything that goes into what these people are reading, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they just aren't taking into account all of the factors that make up what their numbers comprise of. They're going, we're not making these sales here.
They look
And
at
that's
sales
all they're looking
They look
at.
at sales figures.
They're not looking at where they're making sales in other places. They're not looking at the free advertising they're getting. They're not looking at a lot of different options.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of developers
because they're not trying to.
I'm sure a lot of developers' first focal point they look at is, hey, how much money we made on launch, and then how much money we made lifetime, and then they don't consider the what I would call like a friend talk to a friend kind of thing.
Well, yeah, and I mean, just look at it this way too.
Because if
like,
a game wasn't successful on launch, then it wasn't successful, and they move on to something else.
How much
you know?
money do they lose from GameStop? after GameStop has bought their game back and are selling it in used copies, how much money are they losing there?
I want to say they're losing money.
How much money are the publishers and developers not making? Because not necessarily losing, but not making because people aren't buying new copies.
Here's my thing.
You know what I mean?
Now we're back to making arguments for Microsoft's DRM that they've redacted at this point.
Well, no, that's not what I'm saying specifically. I'm just saying. Saying that
those are different.
I am only
redacted
saying
is a character on Dive Kick.
Yeah, he also does. You want to play some Dive Kick?
I am only saying that the arguments are similar and they're not considered. That's all I'm saying.
My problem with
because they don't want to.
My whole problem with the money they haven't made off of a copy that somebody else already bought. Why are video games the only thing we can't sell secondhand?
I'm not saying you can't.
No, I'm just saying as a general.
You mean why is it the thing where like people get up in arms like you're not supporting the developers?
Like you know what GameStop owns?
I think
Movie Stop.
I think I honestly think it's because the industry is still so young.
If you haven't got enough money off of my $60 new purchase IP, then go fuck yourself.
I think it's because the industry is super young and people are super passionate, and and okay, here's another thing. So books are a fairly safe comparison. Somebody buys a book, they hand it around to their friends and stuff. But a lot of times video games are being compared to the movie industry. You know what the movie industry doesn't have? You can't go see a movie, buy a ticket, and then give that ticket to a friend of yours and, they can walk into the theater and see it. So they make that money up front, and then they also make it on the back end on, like, DVD sales and stuff like that. And I think because that is the most closely compared, like, form of media, there's this argument that, like, everybody should pay the upfront cost and the developers should get all the money and stuff.
But I feel like we're comparing apples and oranges because every single time people compare the video game industry to the movie industry, I go, wait, hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
$60 for a new IP, $15 for a movie ticket.
Sure.
For that $60 I paid for that video game, you are comparing it to a movie I could have saw 3 times. So that technically means if I want to spend $60 on a movie, I see it until my friends see it, so why can't I do the same thing with my video game?
Which is technically...
Like, you can compare it to the movie industry all you want, but it doesn't make any sense.
Which is technically the way Microsoft's DRM policy worked.
But it's bad.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Because when I buy the movie on DVD,
I'm just saying,
you know how much a new release on DVD is?
It's like $20.
$23. But guess what?
For DVDs now, or just Blu-rays?
No, DVDs.
Jesus
$26
Christ,
for a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
So I take that DVD that I spent $23 on, and I go, here, RJ, this is a really good movie. Watch it.
Right.
And you can.
Well, no,
it used to be like $20 for a DVD and like...
So, like, I understand the argument, but it's one of those things where you're comparing something that don't even share the same amount of market.
I guess the other thing is that it's people see a difference between, hey, I'm letting my friend borrow this thing that I paid money for, and we're seeing GameStop like repeatedly profiting off of buying these games back at super duper low like price points, and then making huge margins on them just over and over and over.
Let me throw a quick thing at you though.
Like if I could throw bodies into a wood chipper and just make money off of it, and then I could throw the meat patties back into the wood chipper over and over and over again, and eventually call it like super fine ground beef.
Here's one thing I can attribute to GameStop that I can't contribute to the movie industry.
GameStop are murderers.
Is
Fargo style.
Shut up. GameStop employees can rent games from their stores. We all know this.
I didn't know
this is general knowledge.
Yeah.
No, you literally just take the title and go home and play it, and it's a used copy now.
Right.
And sell it.
Oh, well, I'm corporal knowledge now, so.
But they can only do it with used copies. They can't do it with new IPs.
Right.
Like somebody goes in and buy a new copy, you can't just rent a new copy.
Right.
Somebody had to have returned that copy to the store.
Right.
But here's the thing. We have friends that work at movie theaters. They can take me for free to see the same movie as many times as it fucking shows without ever having to originally purchase that movie ticket at any point in their lives. Somebody had to buy that game at GameStop for it to become available for rent by the employees. This could be, as long as it's not...
Higher price point?
As long as it's not the launch day of the movie,
I guess. Okay, so here's the thing. I guess
You
the
can
other
even
part of
get
that.
away
I guess
with
the
that.
other part of that
I've gotten
argument.
away with
Yeah,
that.
Here's the other part of that argument is I saw Pacific Rim this past weekend finally.
Great movie.
I didn't go and see it for $15. Go to StubHub, sell them my ticket for $1, and then StubHub was able to sell my ticket back to somebody for $10, and then they could go see that movie when I had originally paid for it.
See, well, I'm not really necessarily talking about a company taking a part of developers.
Oh sure,
like sales.
but
I'm talking about just being able to see something without paying for it.
Sure.
I'm not talking about like the resale of something, because developers are literally missing out on the money based off of sales they're not seeing. It doesn't matter how much somebody else makes off of it; it's sales they are not able to see. And as many times as my friends have let me see movies for free at the movie theaters, those are sales that the publishing studio did not see, and they're sales that they're not ever going to see.
But the big argument is that somebody is still making money off of that, and it's not the developers.
Yeah.
Right, I could give a shit about GameStop or Regal or Carmike or anything like that. The argument is that the developers are not making the money off it. That's the problem.
Right.
It's not the problem that GameStop is making money off of it. It's the problem that the developers aren't making money off of it. They could give a shit who is doing it.
Again, but when you're comparing it now to the thing that you said you can't compare it to. Just by, like, if they lose that money, or rather, don't make that money in the people who are seeing the movie for free, they still make it back up in DVD sales, which is something that the game industry doesn't have. It doesn't have two waves of sales. It doesn't have, all right, you guys can play this at a big arcade, now you can play it on disc.
No, game developers definitely have a two-wave of sales.
They've actually started doing more than one wave of sales. Actually, they've got multiple waves of sales now, because they've got the first wave of sales, and then they've got downloadable content. Some of them have in-game content that you can download and pay for. Some have pay to win, and then some have Game of the Year editions.
You buy map packs.
Packs
to the cookie cutter sequel to fucking Call of Duty, which is the same game it was last year when they released it, for $9. Okay, they have multiple streams of income. These developers have multiple streams of income. What makes it worse, though, is the two income stream has happened for a while, because there was hype launch. Or there was hype on launch. People came and bought this fucking game. The game would run its cycle, which is a significantly longer cycle than the comparable yet uncomparable theater run of a movie. And then what do? They turn around, repackage it as a greatest hits. It's now cheaper, but there's no development gone to do it. All they had to do is repackage it. And then they sold it again for $20 or $30 now for the fucking Xbox greatest hits.
Sure, but it's not the conventional thing. Like, every single movie has, like, or every movie that goes into theaters, not direct to DVD shit, but every movie that goes into theaters comes out on DVD.
But every movie worth its salt makes up its budget on ticket sales alone. They don't even have to be
right. Everything else is just added. Sure. But video games, that's not necessarily the case. Like, some don't have, like, the big box games certainly have, a lot of downloadable content, but think about how many movies come out a year. Think about how many games come out a year. Like, think about how many big titles come out a year. It's usually maybe 10 at most.
Or I guess if you want like more direct comparison, think about how many movies come out from MGM, Paramount, Universal,
the Big Seven.
Okay, and versus like Ubisoft, EA, Activision, yada yada yada.
Dude, at the rate they're going nowadays, it's almost one and the same.
I'm just saying that's
No,
a closer comparison, rather than a tit for tat. You put out a thing, I put out a thing. You put out a thing, I put out a thing.
But the biggest thing I have is that the video game industry, if you have a good game, people will buy it.
Yeah.
Period. Point. Fucking blank.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. If it is worth the money, people will pay for it. Call me wrong. You're a liar. Because there are plenty of people that are out there in the world that are willing to just support the product.
It's more a comparison of there are certain things that are out there that people are just not aware of because they're a new IP or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
you have your established greats of Call of Duty, of GTA,
No,
that's the only reason I made a face.
Let's try and wrap this up, but I see where RJ's going with that for sure. Like, I mean, there are definitely games that we can go back and go, wow, this really hit the mark, and people missed it. But that's an entirely different shoot that we weren't even like. That's not where we started this whole thing, and we're getting way far gone at this point.
I don't remember where we started anything.
Exactly. So it would probably be a good idea to just woo-saw and try and get to the next point.
My point, okay, AAA publishers make way too much fucking money. If they're going to bitch at me or bitch at the consumer because 2 or 3 other people pirated a game that they've already made millions off of, and now they're punishing the industry.
I don't think that it was necessarily games in general. I think it was just a piracy in general.
Yeah, that's fine. Piracy will always exist. I think they should just suck it up.
Hey, Keith. Video games?
What about them?
Video games!
Yay.
Okay. Are you guys ready for a 6th console? You guys?
Especially not from Madcast.
So Madcast is apparently putting out a console because they said, hey, the Ouya, we can do that too.
But for $150 more.
Yeah, and man, I don't know what these people are fucking thinking.
Game Stick, dog.
It's like, hey, we already put out shitty controllers for other people's consoles. Let's put out a shitty controller for our own thing that is an Android-based device.
I don't know. Mad Catz fight sticks are really good.
I do like Mad Catz controllers. They're good controllers.
Mad Catz fight
the only thing.
Have you ever played on a Mad Catz fight stick before?
No, I've played on a Mad Catz 360 controller.
That's
though.
a fine 360 controller.
No, it's not. It's garbage.
Let me see where that says Mad Catz on it. Because I had a GameStop branded controller that is the same exact controller.
It might be right there.
The only thing that
blows...
Well,
then Mad Catz and GameStops have like a thing going on.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. The only thing that blows about a Mad Catz controller is that they aren't wireless. And they haven't been.
That's not what blows about this controller.
I tried to play NBA 2K13 on that controller, and it was very bad.
Well, RJ drops it a lot.
I don't drop it ever.
I drop RJ's controller a lot.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, that surprises me. I've seen that thing on the floor more times than I can count.
Yeah, exactly. It's mostly my fault.
Anyways.
You bastard.
They're putting out a console. It sounds real dumb. I don't know why they're trying to get into this space right now.
I think it's a terrible idea.
Dude, it is. You know what? You're right.
There are 2 consoles right now. There are 2.
And next year there will be a 3rd, but
Yeah.
We talked about that already.
Eventually, I feel like...
I do not feel like anything else on the market is even remotely comparable.
I feel like we're going to have, like, the big console wars between what soon will be Valve, Microsoft, and Sony, and then there will be, like, the micro-console war.
I feel like Mojo... I feel like the Mojo and the Ouya are just competing for, like...
And the Ouya.
And they both have really stupid names.
I feel like they're just competing for, like... phone gamers.
That's exactly where I was going to go with this. I think it's really funny that as handhelds are dying. The 3DS is kind of dying. The Vita is kind of dying, and now instead of just accepting that phones are the new mobile thing, they're like, hey, let's take this mobile thing and put it on your television. No!
Vita TV!
Well, yes, Vita TV, sure. This? Nuh-uh. This is me making
it's
nuh-uh motion.
It's basically,
Vita TV.
Think about this, actually. This is what it is. You remember when cell phones got really tiny?
What's up?
You remember when cell phones got really tiny?
And now they're really fat
And now they're fat again
Yeah,
because we
Zoolander.
added a whole lot of... exactly. Zoolander's tiny little flip phone, right? Well, and now they're getting bigger again because we're adding more shit to it.
Because everybody wants
screens.
Everybody wants to carry a TV around in their pocket.
Exactly. So Mojo and Ouya are just like, hey, let's take those TV screens, those little TV screens, and put it on an actual TV screen. It's genius.
Nope, not genius.
It's genius.
Nope, not genius.
It's marketing gold.
Stupid. The dumbest. Nuh-uh.
We will make so much bang.
You will make no bang.
Well, considering the fact that the Ouya, in order to get Netflix, In order to get Netflix to work on the Ouya, you have to backload it, and it doesn't work right.
Oh, you mean sideload it?
Or sideload it,
Oh,
and
yeah,
it doesn't work right.
sideload.
And it doesn't work right.
That's how
Of course it doesn't.
Like, the only reason why a console of that price or anything like that would even work is, A, you can play the occasional Android games you want,
right?
And you can use it as a stream box. If
Yeah.
it doesn't work as a stream box, don't fucking
It's
sell it.
useless.
What kills me is that, we're going to throw back to the Vita TV, because I'm really excited about that, is the Vita TV...
Get hyped for Vita TV?
Yes!
Okay.
The Vita TV already has a back catalog, which are actual video games, and not just like mobile games. And they... and
Snap!
And even to get it with a controller, it's $100 less than the Mojo. Because it's only $150 with a controller. And it actually functions as a stream box. And it functions as a stream box for the PS4. So not only can you watch Netflix, you can play your PS4 from a different fucking room.
Here's sort of a long-term question, and I realize that when we bring these up, we apparently are proven right, or information is provided within like a week or 2 weeks after we say something. What doesn't the Vita have like Bluetooth or PS or like
remote play?
or no doesn't it have some sort of like Wi-Fi connectivity or something?
So you can get on the internet.
Does it have
3G?
I'm curious, something like that.
Yes, it has. You can get a contract with AT&T.
Well, I'm curious if like eventually they will find a way to let you play because the Vita games plug directly into the Vita TV and then you play with a DualShock 3, correct?
Yes.
I'm wondering if there's some point where they will be able to plug it into the TV, but you can still properly use the Vita
as the controller. If they make that,
that you can use the full like back touch and everything.
If they make that happen, they'll unlock the rest of the Vita catalog, and they just won the micro console market.
Yeah, and then it's magic.
Yeah, and then it's magic, and like the Mojo and the Ouya and the Game Stick can just go fuck themselves because Sony just said, "Hey,
we're gonna a way to make it work.
We're gonna innovate again."
I mean, because like you know.
And then Nintendo comes out of fucking nowhere.
No, they don't.
With the handhelds.
No, they don't.
And they're just like, wow, that was a great fucking idea. And then they do it better. And then Nintendo comes back. Wouldn't that be just like...
Is there any of that?
Is
there any of that pepperoni Jolly pizza left?
Yeah, there's a couple slices.
Okay, so hold on.
All that happened was that you made me hungry.
Dustin, I have 3 syllables.
Yeah, I made you hungry. For Nintendo.
I have 3 syllables for you why that won't happen. 2DS.
Let's take our brilliant marketing idea and then remove it.
Hey, hey, remember when phones got tiny and then they got big again?
Fuck you.
Nintendo, you're fucking up.
So apparently the PS4 is over 1.5 million pre-orders.
Woo!
I'm not surprised.
Doesn't surprise me.
All right,
they've got a really good marketing campaign.
Let's
be better.
Okay, so let's
be better than Microsoft.
Let's talk about the Watchdog PC specs. This is watch_dogs.
You can't use 32-bit, so...
You can't use 32-bit, so
goodbye,
I'll close that
old
article.
School, guys.
So they're saying that their recommended specs are
I love this.
An
i7
so 3770, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 8, a DirectX 11 card with 2 gigs on board, which I think is better than my card, so I might need a new card.
I have that.
Oh no, okay, so here's my card. Here's the GTX 460, the super banger.
Where's the Radeon? Hey, I can play it. Woo!
Right, great. So I recently was talking to, again, my friend at The Escapist, and we were going back and forth a little bit, and he was like, man, these specs seem kind of crazy. And I was like, well, these things have been in my computer for like 2.5, 3 years now. That's not that nuts. And I'm just saying, I think this is what we have to look forward to for requirements for PC ports from here on out.
Mm-hmm. Which is awesome.
I really hope so. Because I'd like to see good quality content.
That recommended spec build, I built with $500.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
I mean, and the other thing is that, you know...
That renders the Steam machine useless.
I'm gonna say
yeah.
I have a video card that's technically on this list, even if it is like a super low-end version. Even for the recommended.
Mine's on this list, and Crossfire.
I have an equivalent amount of RAM, and I have a better processor, because I've had a hex core that I've overclocked to 3.5, like, again, for 2.5 or 3 years.
Yeah, mine's a quad core, which
like,
is clocked at like 3.8, but it's
I'll
find a way to finagle it.
It's not it's not a fucking AMD thing. But I also find it interesting that games are finally being like, hey, quad cores.
About time.
figure out how to use more than one core video games, and then we can talk. Because I got 6 of them. I'd love to do something with them. I'd love to.
Dude, I got 4 of them, and I'd love to do something.
That'd be great.
It'd be wonderful. It'd be wonderful if Crossfire would work right with all fucking optimizations.
So
but whatever.
I think it's a cool step forward, and
that's kind of exciting because you know how I'm excited.
The slight conversation that I had with him was that he was, it's like, oh, they upped the specs and stuff, and I was like, literally the only people that this is gonna piss off are the people who have been playing on consoles all this time, and then when they realized the console generation was getting old, bought like recommended spec PCs at the time, where it was like 4 gigs of RAM and a dual core maybe, and like this shitty graphics card, and
versus the people like us that kind of
who have like had this shit,
who built up a generation.
I don't want to shit on anybody, but proper, and I'm making finger bunnies right here. Proper PC gamers have had this shit.
Hey, listen, you know what this is telling you, right?
That hopefully games will look good again on PCs.
It's time for an upgrade.
Yeah, right. Oh god.
Hey, AMD just released their new series of APUs. So I'm looking into it.
You know what? My bank account just released the fact that I don't have any money. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It just released that?
Let's get...
It must also be really slow.
Shut the fuck up. Sleeping Dogs sequel confirmed.
Triad Wars!
I'm excited. You know why I'm excited? Because
that game was good.
Because it was really good. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Sleeping Dogs was the True Crime series originally.
True Crime of Hong Kong.
Well, yeah, it was going to be True Crime Hong Kong, but the developers or the series itself went super underground and eventually burrowed out the other end with a really great fucking game and B, a new title for it.
And C, Square Enix.
Yeah, Squeenix, yes, they did find Squeenix somewhere.
And Squeenix was just like, yeah, we'll totally publish this, and made bank off of it.
So I'm this is just going to be a really short commentary, but I'm super excited because
I'm stoked. Yeah.
There've been since Batman Arkham Asylum, redefined third person combat in a melee sense
with a overly abundant counter system.
Yes,
it's really annoying.
Well, suck it up, because this is
still a good game.
This is video games. It could be worse. It could be worse because you could be pushing towards people and trying to throw punches and just scraping along their side and not doing any damage.
You know
Always my only critique.
It has to be an overabundant counter system because everybody's trying to fight Batman and he's only one Batman. He's just really awesome at combat. So he's also he's like, oh, what's that? You're gonna attack me both at the same time? I'm gonna counter both of you at the same time and do this sweet, awesome flip move.
Because he's fucking Batman.
Because he's fucking Batman.
I'm not saying it's the single greatest, combat system that ever could be, but
pretty
goddamn is it a fucking step up from where we used to be.
Yeah, man.
And Sleeping Dogs was one of the few games recently that grasped that and were like, no, we could do that real good too. Us, yes, yeah, do it.
Not Batman.
And they have a proper fighting combo system where
you upgrade combos,
break the shit out of people's arms and legs, it's really painful to see.
Batman broke arms and legs, but he was Batman.
But he's not Wei Chen.
Well, right, he was Batman,
undercover cop.
Cunt.
This is two weeks in a row with sequels that I'm really excited for.
Sweet.
Also, Terraria 2 is in development.
So Minecraft
that excites the fuck out of
me. 2D2.
Yes.
Shut up.
So Minecraft 4D.
No, they have done a very good job of distancing themselves from Minecraft. But, dude, what excites me is one thing I did, because I have Terraria, and the developer for Terraria recently released that big patch for it.
Yeah, 1.2.
Whole new game.
Wow.
Really?
So I'm actually genuinely...
I haven't played it since
I'm actually
launch.
genuinely, perplexed about what he's going to do for the sequel. Because this patch was literally just hey, I had to restart my world because it was so different.
Apparently he's been working on it since January or February of this year.
He said if Terraria 2 launches the way he expects it is, he's going to hire a team to continue patching the first one so they don't lose...
Wow.
Yeah, so they don't lose support for the first game, and then he can continue working on the second one.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's going to be cool.
So one last news story that's kind of sad. The day after we recorded our podcast,
Mr. Tom Clancy passed away.
Yeah, Tom Clancy, best known for his military novels, but also the inspiration for Splinter Cell and a bunch of and Rainbow Six
and Hunt for Red October.
Yep,
and,
great book.
So he passed away, and we are all a little bit worse off for it, because though he may have sold his name to French people years and years and years ago. From what I've heard, his fucking books are really...
His books are really awesome.
They're really good.
Hot bangers.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. Me and my dad are actually very freaking prevalent Tom Clancy readers.
Mm-hmm.
He's... When it comes to, like, a writer that encompasses a genre such as, like, the... kind of semi-future, semi-past military writer, because it really depends on what book you read.
Right.
Just somebody that can take the military into a perspective that he does, and like the darkness and like the kind of behind-the-scenes nature of it and stuff like that. He's unparalleled. Like Hunt for Red October to this day is one of the best books I have ever read, because it literally takes you behind the scenes of the Cold War submarine crews, what would happen if. Based off of semi-factual events.
Yeah. Hunt for Red October.
And Sean Connery's in the movie. So
yeah!
There you go.
Instantly awesome.
So do we have any other parting thoughts right now?
Pokemon X and Y. That's happening.
The same day as the 2DS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant marketing strategy
Isn't
by
that,
Nintendo.
Actually, from what I read, it's dropping on Saturday.
Well,
Odd.
Yeah, the 12th. I saw that it was releasing the 12th. Am
that
I the only one who thinks that's really weird?
Yeah. So that might not be worldwide. That might just be in Japan.
No. This is Game
worldwide.
Freak's first worldwide launch of a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every market is getting it on the same
So
day.
the reason they're doing
that's why this is so big, because it's Game Freaks and Nintendo going, first time Pokemon's been launched simultaneously across the world.
The reason it's getting launched on a Saturday is because of Japan. Because when things like...
Then it's Sunday in Japan.
No. When things like when things like Monster Hunter and like Dragon Quest and shit come out, people in Japan straight up like take off of work and leave school and stuff.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
So they are setting this up for I think
you're basically saying that this way they don't have to take off work.
There's
it's
like
a weekend.
There's like a law in Japan that says Dragon Quest games have to be released on Sundays because it fucks up the workflow. So
well, I mean, I guess I'm just released. I'm used to
the Tuesday
normal.
launch schedule.
I'm used to the
because
normal
motherfuckers
Tuesday launch schedule because
motherfuckers love hunting slimes, I guess. Or something.
guess.
Because it's the usual North American release.
Right.
Is the Tuesday.
Yeah.
But that makes the worldwide launch all at once. That's how it makes sense because
it's a Japanese company.
Because if they have to release it on the weekend,
right?
Then it's gonna be their Sunday, our Saturday.
Super huge closing note.
Okay.
If anybody is going to be in the Charlotte area on October 31st, Halloween night.
Wait, you expect me to have this podcast posted by then?
You better, Jesus fucking
It's
Christ!
supposed to go up tonight, RJ.
You gotta come and see Guar. I will be there, because Guar on Halloween is always a good idea.
Yeah, I wish I could be there with you. Another thing, since this is coming out on Tuesday and not Wednesday.
I already established super closing.
Hang on,
note.
hopefully. Well, no, I actually think that's really good.
It'll at least be up by Wednesday morning.
This is, it's a good point because Slashplayed in Full Force will be out tomorrow night.
That is true.
The Two Freds and the Invisible Man.
Yeah. Slashplayed in Full Force will be out tomorrow night at the Gypsy on Fuck You and Friends live show, and it's going to be pretty awesome. I'm really stoked that we're going to be all together for this one because,
I still don't have a fancy hat.
You don't need a fancy hat. Well, I mean, you want to go to the store with me tomorrow? Do you have $20 to drop on a hat?
I mean, I do, but I work 11 to 7.
Anyways, I have another. I was gonna
another super closing statement.
No, I have the proper closing statement because I was gonna go last anyways. I'm currently in the process of transitioning from our old YouTube channel that is not gonna be very good for us for a long time. onto a new YouTube channel. So as soon as we get proper podcast music, Keith,
Working on it.
and shit sorted out, we're gonna start putting stuff up on there. So
Tickle your chimneys there, bud.
I'll make an official post or something on the page when that happens. So if you guys want to be extra awesome and like rewatch all of our videos one time, or maybe subscribe to that channel
to at least encompass all the views we got on the videos now, we got to make up for it.
That'd be pretty goddamn great. So yeah, that's the Slashplayed Podcast for this week. Say goodbye, Keith.
Bye, Keith.